Why some people never marry, or why are some people destined to stay single? Let me ask you something more uncomfortable. Why do some people find love effortlessly, while others spend decades waiting for it? Not because they are unattractive, not because they are emotionally unavailable. Sometimes it's just because their life was never designed around marriage in the first place. That might sound shocking, but astrology sometimes reveals something very surprising. Some charts are built for partnership, and some charts are built for a different purpose. You may know someone like this. The person is intelligent, they're emotionally balanced, they're independent, yet marriage never becomes the center of their life. Years pass. People around them keep asking, why aren't you married yet? Eventually, society assumes something must be wrong. But astrology sometimes shows something very starkly different. In astrology, marriage potential is not just from one factor. We normally study 5 to 6 key elements in your birth chart. First, of course, is the most common one, the seventh house, which represents your partnership and marriage. Second one is the seventh lord, ruler of your seventh house, which shows how relationships unfold in life. Third element to consider is Venus, which governs attraction, affection, and emotional bonding. Fourth one is your D9, Navansh, D9 chart, which reveals deeper karmic blueprint of your marriage. So D9 is actually way more important than D1 because that's on a case to case basis, but that's where you see the longevity. And I mean, there are other factors or a combination of these which show detachment, delay in life, that relationships may not become central experience of that person's life. One such important influence is Ketu. Ketu represents detachment from worldly attachments. I mean, it sounds crazy like detaching from world's attachment, but it's detaching you from the materialistic pleasures. So when Ketu is strongly influencing seventh house, seventh lord, or Venus, the person may naturally feel less interested in traditional relationships. So for example, Ketu is in the seventh house alone. Ketu is conjunct with Venus, or Ketu is influencing the seventh lord, maybe sitting with the seventh lord or aspecting the seventh lord. These placements create people who value independence and inner growth more than emotional dependency. Interestingly, many individuals with strong Ketu influence develop deeper interest in knowledge, spirituality, or self discovery. Another major planet to look out for is Saturn. Saturn rarely denies marriage completely, but it has the tendency to delay it significantly. Check for signs like, is Saturn in your seventh house? Is Saturn aspecting the seventh lord? Is Saturn influencing Venus? Now, in some cases, what typically happens is if you look at Cancer ascendants or Leo ascendants, Saturn by default is the lord of the seventh house. So, not necessarily, but in most cases, these are the relationships where these are the cases where relationships will require more maturity and responsibility. Sometimes the person spends their most active years focused on career, responsibility, family obligations, or even building stability. And relationships simply do not come across as a primary focus in those initial years. Placement of the seventh lord tells a very important story. Seventh lord is placed in trick houses, like sixth house. Relationships may bring conflict or imbalance. If the seventh lord is placed in the eighth, relationships may become deeply transformative. And if it's in the 12th house, relationships may involve emotional distancing or even at times separation. These placements don't automatically deny marriage, but they can make relationships complicated enough that the person eventually prioritizes other aspects of life. Now, we also examine the D9 or the Navansh, which reveals the deeper karmic blueprint for relationships. Sometimes the birth chart may promise marriage, but Navansh shows weakened relationship factors. In such cases, relationship may appear in life, but may not have a defining experience, like leaving that vacuum of loneliness despite being in a match. And one of the most important insights, biggest mistake society makes is assuming that everyone must follow the same life template. Go to school, get a career, marry, have children. But astrology shows that life paths are not identical. Some people experience their deepest fulfillment through relationships. Others experience fulfillment through purpose, creativity, knowledge, or contribution. And sometimes forcing a marriage onto a chart is not, which is not designed for it, can create more suffering than happiness. Astrology teaches us something profound, something very deep. Every soul enters life with a different set of priorities. For some, relationships are central theme, and for others, it's just one of the chapter in the larger story. So, stop comparing yourself with others, and instead of asking, why am I not living in the same life as everyone else? Start asking a more important question. What kind of life was I meant to live? Do you think society puts too much pressure on marriage as the ultimate life milestone? Or is it more of your intrinsic emotional thought? Share your thought in comments, and if you want to understand relationship potential in your own chart, you can connect with me for an individual session. And the reason is because sometimes the answers we search in life are already written in our chart. Just need to decode them.